Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first SA Chefs podcast. And what better way to celebrate than celebrating our youth members in our first ever podcast of the SA Chefs Association. Youth Day commemorates the Soweto uprising, which took place on June 16th in 1976, where thousands of students were ambushed by the apartheid regime. This year, in 2021, marks the 45th anniversary of the event, and over the years, a huge emphasis has been placed on the growth and development of youth in various industries. SA Chefs is a proud pioneer in terms of development and training of chefs in South Africa, and has a very active Young Chefs Club. And I'm very honored today to be joined by 4 aspiring young chefs in our industry today. So joining us on the panel today, we have a passionate lecturer who has worked and been teaching and molding young culinary minds for the last 8 years, having worked in some of the best culinary schools in the country, and is currently employed at the CTIA Durban campus and is the chair of the YCC in KwaZulu-Natal. A very warm welcome to Chef Afzal Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Chef Kruger, for that warm welcome. Very excited to be a part of the SA Chef's first podcast, and very interested to hear everyone's ideas and share the conversation.
Fantastic. We also have a chef with 6 years of experience, having worked in the UK and in France, and has a passion for food styling, and is currently also doing a little bit of food photography. He is currently a pastry lecturer at the Johannesburg Culinary and Pastry School. A very good welcome to Chef Masinya, or as I or everybody else affectionately knows him as Chef Lucky, who is also the current chair of the Young Chefs Club in Gauteng.
Thank you very much, Chef Kruger, for that welcome, and welcome everyone. I'm very honored to be part of this, and looking forward to the fruitful conversations that we'll be having.
Moving a little bit north of from Gauteng, we have a qualified artisan chef, and he's currently a junior lecturer at the Limpopo Chefs Academy in Mokopane, and is the current chairperson of the YCC in the Limpopo region. Welcome to Chef Marco Fenter.
Hi, Chef Kruger. Hi, fellow chefs. It's so nice to be on a tremendous Youth Day where we celebrate our fellow friends and chefs in the industry. I'm so honored to be a part of this, and can't wait for the conversations we are going to have.
Fantastic. And the rose among the thorns, we have a chef who is currently the executive chef at the Protea Hotel by Marriot, Kruger Gate. She has 10 years of industry experience, having worked both internationally and locally, with a vast amount of knowledge about the industry, a highly driven chef with a strong work ethic, and also a passion that enables her to excel. She believes that nothing stands without a strong foundation, and views herself as a teacher and a student, and believes that learning never stops. So a very warm, and should I say, low-felt welcome to Chef Ithabeleng.
Thanks, Chef. I'm really excited to be here. It's an amazing time for us young people, and what better way to celebrate than be a young executive chef on June 16th for the very first time. So this is amazing, and I can't wait to share the love with everybody else and engage in the conversation.
Fantastic. And last but not least, I think I need to let everybody know who I am. And if you don't already know who I am, my name is Chef Pillay, and I'm an executive chef with a passion for young chefs, and very instrumental in the growth and development, training and mentoring of young chefs, and currently hold the youth portfolio on the SA Chefs Board of Directors. So without further ado, I think let's get into this exciting conversation on this very special day. And let's head off to Durban. Chef Afzal, what does the significance of Youth Day play on your life? And how has it assisted you to follow a career path as a chef?
Yeah, look, I think Youth Day is definitely a day that invokes a sense of change in us all. It invokes a sense of positive change, in fact. And, I really like history, because history gives us an opportunity to actually reflect on our achievements as a society. Sometimes they might not be great, and sometimes they are great. But for me as a lecturer, I've found I've actually got an opportunity to actually fuel the power that the youth have in shaping the next generation of what our industries are all about. And I have found a lot of self-worth in obviously being able to mentor, as well as get the youth to actually understand the significance of how important chefs, the role that chefs play, and how conscious you need to be as a chef in the society that we live in. And it's not as it used to be before, where we just went about our day. Now we've got to be conscious on our environment and be conscious on so many different things. And I think our youth are definitely going to be shaping our futures.
Absolutely, that is so right. A lot of people look at our past in a very negative light, and unfortunately, as in everything in life, your future is dependent on your past. And I think we have such a rich history, and what we've gone through as a country, and it's so exciting, to know what has come about all of this. And you really, you touched a very a strong point in that, and you definitely have a massive role to play, not just as a chef, but also in the future of this country.
Yeah, most definitely. Being a lecturer now, it's been 8 years for me. I've seen many of the youth go out into this industry. And 8 years ago, when I started teaching, 8 years later, I'm seeing now youth actually ending up in executive chef positions and in really nice positions, and actually fundamentally changing also mindset as to what industry is all about. Again, commemorating the change in youth. And I think the youth definitely have the power and the ability to take our industry to higher and much better levels as well.
Absolutely. In talking about our rich history, we live in a very diverse country, and it's very evident in our culinary offerings. Because, somebody asks, what is the national dish of South Africa? And no one really has the answer to that. Because there's so many, and it just shows us, the melting pot of cultures that we have in this country. So Chef Marco, what do you think are the opportunities for youth wanting to pursue a career in culinary?
Chef Koo, it's an endless opportunity field out there. It's absolutely so wonderful to see how many students open their own, graduated student chef, culinary chef students open their own businesses. They open their own catering companies. They put out their hands overseas through OVC, Awesome Travel, and Placement International. It's so awesome to see how many young chefs take on that profile of I'm a business owner. I just want to tell them we're here for you, and that's why we have this committees, and that's why we have the different regions for you to reach out to us and then talk to us about what your stance are. But at the end of the day, the amount of job opportunities, not only that, the amount of opportunities afterwards is endless, and it's so cool to see how many young chefs take on that journey and then make a success of it. And then I think it's so little that we give them so much praise for that, because it's so much hard work. And on this Youth Day especially, I want to, especially with Chef Mathibe, who's the executive chef, she's a lady and she's a young chef. I think this is so awesome to see. And this is just one of the testimonies of how many young chefs make it out there. And I just want to say congratulations to you, and wow, I'm really, really, really proud of you.
Absolutely. I think we all share that, and you actually touched a very good point there, because, often a lot of people think that a chef's life is very glamorous, which I won't lie, it does get to a certain point of glamour, but it takes a lot of hard work. And, you can't just walk out of culinary school and expect now, to just have everything come to you. Hard work is earned, and not just in the chefing industry, in any industry for that matter. And you know, the old saying is, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard this, is that you get out what you put in. And if you put in the hard work and you put in the dedication and you put in the time and the sacrifice that you make, you will be somebody like Chef Ita, who at the age of 29, you know, is running one of the biggest international properties in the Kruger. And I mean, and like they say, the world is your oyster. And
yes.
Chef Marco, I just want you just to touch a little bit on while we're talking about the culinary career. You know, a lot of people think that you're only recognized if you're a chef working for a hotel group or you have your own restaurant. But there are so many different career paths that a culinary student can follow. Can you just touch on a few of them?
Yes, of course, Chef. It's like I said, it's endless. It's like Chef Lucky's doing. He did food styling. I mean, that's one of the many career paths you can take. You can go to foodography, catch up a camera, look some ideas on Pinterest, and let the creative juices flow. I mean, there is recipe development for restaurants. You can go. It's actually to think about it. It's quite awesome to see how much the world revolves around food, and you're only classified as a chef if you are willing to take that path. If you are willing to stand up 5 o'clock in the morning after a shift where you came back from 3 o'clock in the morning to go and do that again. I think you're a chef when it's crazy. I can't even tell you. You're a chef when you decide that day that I always tell my students this, and I think this is so important. Deciding to become a chef is like jumping off a cliff and building your wings on the way down. And it's so important to understand because nothing happens just like that. Nothing is overnight. But yeah, the career opportunities is really so much. And whenever there's students telling me, I don't have a job, it's so sad to hear that, because at the end of the day, you create your own destiny. And I feel that is so important.
Absolutely. You know, just to touch a bit on what we're going through currently, Chef Lucky, here in South Africa, we are currently going through the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, some countries have started entering into their fourth wave. But on the other hand, we've got countries already above the 60% mark on vaccines and kind of are coming a little bit back to a normality. However, here in South Africa, you know, hospitality and catering has suffered, you know, the adverse effects of the lockdown and limited travel and the curfews, etc., that are in place. Do you think that a career in hospitality and in culinary, for that matter, is still worthwhile?
Personally, I think it is still worthwhile. I mean, if there's one thing, I always say, if there's one thing that will bring a CEO and a janitor to sit at one table and have a conversation, it's food. So people still need to eat. People have birthdays. People still have weddings. Yes, it's limited, but people won't go to your wedding to cook their own food. So I think that's where we also need to build doors of opportunities for ourselves. Just to echo what Chef Marco said as well, like there's different avenues into the hospitality industry. I feel like when people say hospitality industry, they tend to to limit it. I mean, people can stretch their tents. So to answer the question, yes, I think we can still invest in this career. Also, just to think about it, guys, I mean, the travel and tourism industries is one of the industries that holds a nation's economy. I mean, people come in and out. So also, I think the call is up on us as a public. We need to take the precautions and all that. So personally, I think there's still room for investment in pursuing a career in this field.
Absolutely. And I also think, you know, over this time, in the last 18 months or so, we've also seen chefs, how should I say, re-engage themselves, rebrand themselves. We've seen a lot of success stories, as much as we've got the doom and gloom of hotels closing down, etc. But I've seen an increase in chefs now offering a personalized chef catering business. So they bring the restaurant to your home. They've taken weddings and birthday parties up to the next level. I've seen a lot of chefs now becoming entrepreneurs, chefs taking the plunge and now, joining culinary schools. I've also seen a lot of chefs now going into the education field. A lot of chefs have now branched into more research and development or product development. I've seen chefs, launch snack ranges. So, as much as we kind of have halted in terms of hospitality, but as you said, people still need to eat. And I think that, it's also, good to hear that through this pandemic and through the lockdown, there has been a lot of successes that have come out of this.
Yes, Chef. I think you also hit the nail on the head there. So on a slightly lighter note, I think the pandemic also made people not to be comfortable anymore. Because remember, if you're in a comfort zone, you never grow. So I feel like it's pushed us to an extent where, as a chef, you need to start thinking out the box. We can't be thinking like how Augustina Scoffia used to think or how Paul Bocuse used to think. Yes, they're really good chefs that have created foundations of the industry and all the French gastronomy. I could go for hours, but also we need to get to a point that we are a different generation now. And what are we doing to engage our target market or the customers that we have now? I mean, someone that will be plating a peach Melba 20 years ago will be different to a pastry chef that will be plating a peach Melba now. So I think the pandemic, yes, it has dented our industry. Can we do something about it? Yes, we definitely can. I mean, chefs are very, very creative, guys. We are very, very creative people. So it's time for us to take our creativity out of the box, unpack it, and see how can we do it. So yeah, I think we can get through this. I mean, quite a lot of businesses closed in 2020, and a lot of them started opening in 2021. Like you said, Chef, a lot of chefs decided to start doing, bringing the industry to you, bringing their services to you. Some people even started opening small baking classes. I know one of my students is doing basic baking pastry classes from a home for a number of like 10 to 12 people. I mean, that's generating an income. That's being creative as a chef. So yes, it has dented our industry, but we can't just sit and do nothing about it. Let's put our creativity somewhere else and start to rebuild our industry.
Fantastic. And I already have an idea for an upcoming podcast, is that maybe we must get some of these chefs together to share their success stories and what they've achieved over this lockdown. And one person that has achieved a milestone during the lockdown, having been recently appointed as an executive chef during a lockdown in a global pandemic, being 29 years old, being a woman of color, in an industry dominated globally by males. Chef Ita, what does this appointment mean for you, and what are you hoping to achieve in your new role? And by the way, congratulations, because this is a huge achievement, not just for you, but for women chefs around the world.
I'm really happy, and I worked so hard, and there were times when I felt like giving up. But I was happy going and applying and trying. Made it out of depression because I felt like I was stuck at some point, and at the time, and it is a blessing, and I believe that my story should say to somebody else, a pandemic, a global pandemic. Adjust yourself and align yourself with the right energy, even if it's a pandemic. You will come out.
That's amazing, and it's so great to see somebody like yourself with the spirit that you have, despite all the odds. You've persevered, and something I just need to share with people. having been to your property, having known and seen your staff, you also have a very unique kitchen in that 90% of your workforce are females. And it's amazing to see, women on the grill, because generally, I'm sure Chef Marco and Chef Lucky in the pastry field will tend to agree. Generally, women chefs are seen to be more pastry chefs or cold kitchen chefs. But it's so amazing to see in Chef Ita's kitchen, women grilling meats and on the stir fry section and on the carvery, and doing things that traditionally were seen as a male chef duty. So hats out to you, Chef Ita, for what you've achieved and what you continue to achieve with your kitchen. And talking about, women in culinary, etc. You serve as a member of the SA Chefs Women in Culinary Committee, and you've been working very closely with the Young Chefs Club over the last couple of months. But I want to touch a little bit on your employer, Marriot International. It's got a very innovative program called Take Care. And it looks out for, the employees' well-being in terms of career, emotional well-being, financial well-being, physical well-being. And one of these aspects, I believe you guys call it me-equilibrium, if I'm correct. How important is it for employees to get involved with their employees' well-being? And do you think that the youth find relevance to something like this?
Well, Chef Kruger, that is really a good topic. It's one of my favorites. See, I think the heart and the core of what the spinal cord is to the body. They are the heart and the core of every business. And any great employer knows that supporting the well-being of the staff and recognizing them at all times impacts the business in a positive manner. Motivated staff have the drive to do more, are willing to do more. As much as I bash at my ladies and I go, guys, this is wrong. I will not accept this. I become a better thing when I have to be, and I throw everything around. But with that also, when they've done well, I go back. I say publicly, I individually go to them and say, you have done well. Continue doing the good job. And that's why they continue and they aspire to do more at all times. And this, I embody this with pride because it's exactly what the company stands for. And I know that I have the company has my back every time I go ahead and do this. With the company, they normally provide the well-being in terms of the health, body health, good relationships with others, having a sense of purpose and good mental health. Those are the key areas that we normally look at. And for me, as representing the employer, I have one-on-one interactions with the ladies, and I want to find out how is it at home, how many kids do you have, because I want to be there for them. If somebody's slacking, I want to understand at what stage are they, and I want to also, I've started individual engagement. And I want to understand, you've been here for 16 years, you haven't grown. Is this what you wanted? What do you think happened? So now I start by nurturing and coaching, and I believe that it's never too late. So I believe that a 40-year-old lady can still become a CDP. That might be the peak of her career, but that might be the purpose that she always wanted to fulfill. And it's what the company and my managers, my general manager is supporting the whole thing. In terms of the youth, I believe that the youth today, we have more opportunities, but with opportunities, it is harder and harder. The pressures of the economical pressures and the social pressures are more. Social media, you see, chefs living the life. There are chefs who are making lots of money. Then there are chefs who are literally making nothing. And there are those chefs who study and they pay a lot of money and they have this assumption that when they go into the industry, they're just going to make a lot of money from the beginning. And because we can't really, there's nothing we can do about those things. These are things that are set for us. The only thing we can do is to nurture the chefs. It's to coach them. It's to allow them through the process. I've noticed there's an attitude of ego between our young chefs, and we cannot bridge the gap by being harsh at them. Love changes the world, and supporting them, loving them through the process and talking to them, having conversations with them, really assists in changing their mindset and in creating a balance. I know most of them are trying to create the social balance of being young and there's the economical balance of being independent. And sometimes it's really hard to have that balance. But when you sit down and you encourage them and you walk the road with them, they are able to come to a point where they understand that they sacrifices at every stage of life.
Okay, great. I'm not going to respond to that because I see we've got 4 minutes to go. So I'm going to end this one and then we'll start the next call. And then we'll start that call responding to Chef Ita's comment. Cool. Chef Ita, that is so amazing. And, it's so important that employees take a bit of time to get to know their employees, because sometimes, as employers, we forget the stresses that our employees go through, and it actually has an effect on the output in the workplace. So kudos to you and kudos to your team, and I wish more employers follow that. And just adding on to that topic that we've posed to Chef Ita, is that the industry is known to be very demanding, as we all know, and it's very stressful. But, and it's one of the industries that suffers a very high rate of depression, unfortunately, suicide. And many chefs globally and also locally are known to go into substance abuse and even alcohol addiction. Maybe Chef Ita, what do you believe that, in terms of a support for young chefs in our industry to overcome this, because that could also be a deterrent from young chefs wanting to enter the industry, because they see people losing their lives, they see people going into depression, they see people, becoming alcoholics or relying on drugs. What is your advice to these young chefs and also chefs in the industry that are also, feel that there's no support for them in the industry?
Chef, I believe that generally everything starts with you. So you've got to know yourself. We are not all emotionally strong on the same level. You have to know who you are and where you stand. And then you have to know who you align yourself. Just because at work I align myself with you because you're really good at your job does not mean I need to be like you socially. Does not mean I have to hang out with you socially. Align yourself with people who are going to build you. Align yourself with people who are going to impact your life in a positive manner. What is cool does not necessarily mean it's good for you. It's actually very cool. It's good to be uncool. Uncool people get ahead more than cool people. So I believe that the most important thing is generally just finding yourself, knowing yourself, and then aligning yourself with the right people and having the right mindset and being honest with yourself. If you feel that it is too much for you and no one understands, there are so many organizations. I know that if your job at your work, there's no one who understands and you can't. There's fake kitchens. Fake kitchens assist. There are so many other routes of getting help. I always say to keep my people around me, I say that therapy is a lifestyle because I have a therapist. I go to this couch and I say, Mr. Reynolds, today I feel like this. It's a lifestyle. It's good to talk. It's good to know when it's too much. So talking, finding help, it's never, you're not weak. You are actually strong to admit that you need help. Strong people are able to admit how they feel. Weak people don't talk about that things, but strong people talk about that.
Chef Lucky, as a young chef that has a bit of international experience and also a lecturer currently, developing young chefs to enter the industry, just adding on to what Chef Ita has said, what do you believe is the support for the young chefs? And I'm going to pose the same question to you. in terms of, the lifestyle that chefs lead?
Yeah, Chef Kru. Just to echo a bit what Chef Ita said, I think what she said is very important, but also one of the things that we really discuss or that we don't really speak about, it's human connection, Then it also boils down to accountability. Yes, the industry that we're in is very, very demanding. So since I've started lecturing, obviously students would need someone to look up to. They need accountability, someone that they can that can mentor them. So I think that's where it's going to start. Getting a mentor. Yes, it's going to be iron sharpens iron. A mentor would be nice to you because they are molding you, because when you're growing up, you're molded to be something else. And now you're fading into your industry. Now you need to be demolded and be remolded again into something else. So I always tell people that if you have no one that you're accountable to, like accountability seems like a threat if someone is not willing to acknowledge their toxic behavior. It's very, very important that you get plugged in and that you get someone that you can be accountable to. So with me personally, just to make a practical example, so I think there's 3 groups of people. There's the first group of people, I think it's people that you look up to, people that are in the industry that are doing the things that you look up to. Hey, Chef Kru, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z. Hey, Chef Kru, how do I get this? How do I get from CDP level to exec chef level? Why? Because Chef Kru has walked this road before you. Chef Kru knows what you need to do. Then I have people that are with me. Chef Marco, bro, how's things going in Limpopo? Chef Marco, I'm facing this. How did you tackle this? Because we're in this together. We're in the same group. Then there's people that are very important, that are the students that we're teaching, that are the people that are looking up to us. So what are you doing so that they can hold you accountable one day and say, Chef, no, you did X, Y, and Z, and you showed us X, Y, and Z, so we are following you. So that's the important group of people. I'm just smiling because I was speaking to one of the lecturers about this Friday. So the 3 groups of people. So if the third one is right, and you're accountable with the second one, which is your friends, and you look up to your mentor, which is the third one. So I think with that pipeline, I think that's when you will get the nail on the head. Yes, it's like being in the sea. It might get a bit bumpy and rough, but if it's not taking you out of your comfort zone, then you are not growing. Then there is a problem. And remember, in this industry, whether you've been here for 50 or 80 years, you always need to make room for improvement and to learn. That's what chefs don't get it. Like you said, a lot of chefs complaining, have so much experience. Then you get to the kitchen, talking is something else, and doing it is also another different ball game. So I think if I answer your question, I'm getting a bit too carried away.
No, you're not actually, and it is also nice. We must also look at perspective, and because everybody sees a different issue or a different topic in a different way, and this is why we're here. Chef Ita sees it in a different perspective. You see it in a very similar perspective. And I know young chefs out there right now are saying, "Oh, well, it's very easy, for Chef Lucky, to say all of these because he's around people, he has a network of people." Chef Marco, I'm going to bring you into this conversation, again, addressing the same topic, because you are in an area that a lot of people, tend to say it's remote, and, because Limpopo is so vast, and, it's not, if you have to compare it to a metropolitan like KZN or Gauteng, where things are a little bit closer, your area, and I think even at Chef Ita, at her location, chefs don't really believe in networking because they believe they're kind of on their own. But I think in today's day and age, where we have technology, this forum right now, we are all in different provinces, but we've been brought together on this podcast. And the youth of today, it's all about technology and WhatsApping and phone calls and emailing and Facebook and social media, etc. So what support is it that you're offering to your young chefs in your region, and how can we assist other chefs in other regions that are grappling with this issue that's facing our industry?
This is so true, Chef Kru. It's the amount of times I get people telling me, but why can't we have this, or why can't we have that? Why is it? Then my first and only response is welcome to Limpopo. It's that simple. It's not playing around. It's not doing that or that. But we are limited to a certain amount. So let's say at school where I work currently, we are limited to a certain amount of ingredients. For instance, what we get on Bitfood is what we get. I mean, we can't have like a personal grower who can grow us mushrooms, or a personal microgreen grower or stuff like that. It's a matter of taking that first step. And I always tell people this, they want to sit on their couches at home, complain about, no, but what are they doing for me? What are they doing for me? What are they doing for me? At the end of the day, I feel if you don't take that first step and you don't reach out to other chefs, knock on your door and just be like, hey, are you okay? Because we're all busy, we're all running around, we all have our own stuff to do. It's not, I do this with my students as well. I tell them, I can't smell if you need something. You need to tell me. It's a matter of communication. And I think that's where technology also had a big impact. It's easier to just WhatsApp one another. It's easier to do a video call. It's easier but I think most people lack that personal or one-on-one human touch, and that is also a big thing for chefs currently. But in the pandemic that we find ourselves in now, we don't have any other way. But what we do this side is we try to get people on Facebook. We try to get people on WhatsApp. We try to get them on and tell them to go do research, call this chef. Are you struggling with this? I've been through it. Let me help you. But it's so difficult when they don't reach out. And yeah, I encourage people listening now, if you're in Limpopo, if you struggle, just put into Facebook, search there, Marco Venter, pop me a Facebook message. It's a matter of taking that first step. And I just want to thank you for putting me into this conversation, because at the end of the day, that was weighing very heavily.
Absolutely. And I think all three of you touched on something, how our careers and our industry has evolved. Technology has a huge impact on how we do things. Chef Lucky made an example, to a peach cobbler, and how, it's evolved, and how things were done back in the day to how things are done now. And I think we've evolved totally in our industry, but we're still chefs at heart. But we've got to adapt to the ever-changing environment that we're in. And something that I know all of you are very excited about, something that you guys have been working on for the last couple of months, and something that you wanted to launch actually this year, but we're going to possibly do a media, or should I say a virtual launch. But Chef Afzal, I know it was kind of something that stemmed out of your committee, and it's now grown. So can you tell us about this project or this initiative that the YCC committee has been working on? I know you guys are almost ready to launch it under South African chefs, called the Next Generation Chef. I'm really excited about it. I know you guys are very excited about it. So can you please let our members and our young chefs out there know, what is this Next Generation Chef?
Yes, Chef, definitely. Just listening in on everyone's comments today, there's so many more ideas that I have now from just listening to what Chef Marco, Chef Lucky, and Chef Ita had to say today. Mental health is definitely something that I'd love to, touch on with regards to the next generation as well. And something that you just said right now was that we are in an ever-changing environment, and we find that things are constantly changing. And how do we need to adapt? We tend to forget that people also change. And we have a generation of people that are with a different mindset and have a different characteristics in terms of their attributes. And there's a few fundamental things that we're looking at when we're discussing the next generation of chefs. And I must say that, it's not something that we are excluding any other generations from. It is the next generation of what chefing is going to be like. And again, we look at history and we look at the last generation and what we've achieved, and we look at how we can, of course, take lessons from that and look at what we're trying to and build onto those lessons as well. So just a few fundamental things that I can, of course, talk about right now is the one thing we want to look at the different generations of youth. look at outlining their attributes. I find as a lecturer that the youngsters nowadays, it's unfortunate, but you have to say it, they are a little bit lazy, So it's something that we know that we have to discuss, that we have to talk about, because they're not the same. They don't have the same work ethic as the older generation. But what do they have to bring to the table? Things like creativity, things like taking accountability. And this is what we want to outline. We want to outline, let the older generation of chefs learn about this next generation of youngsters that are out there, learn about their attributes, learn about their characteristics, and utilize this knowledge to be able to manage their brigades more efficiently and more effectively. So that's just one fundamental aspect. Career opportunities, which we've discussed already, a vast range of career opportunities, which we really want to alert the youngsters out there about. Industry is not what it used to be before. Skills falls on all levels, whether you're old or whether you're young. I think sometimes when you're old, you feel like, as Lucky said, you feel like, or you can talk the talk, but sometimes you can't walk the walk. And it's definitely something that we want to outline. What type of attributes and skills do you need to have from older generations all the way down to younger generations? Technology is a big one. From a school level of learning now, we have technology that is able to assist us with an online platform of learning, which is completely revolutionized culinary schools as well. So definitely going to be looking at culinary schools and technology and how we've actually utilized technology, whether it be from a culinary school or even, for example, Chef Ita, you'll be able to agree with me. You utilize technology a lot as well at Protea there as well, Chef Kruger as well. And something that's also very important and not discussed as much is our environment and the impact we have as a society of chefs within our environment, and how we have a direct impact on what the future of this environment is going to bring for us, and what the future of the environment holds for us. So yeah, those are just a few attributes that Next Gen Chef is looking at bringing out and cultivating and discussing. Mental health, I think, is one that definitely needs to be added onto the list. Quite impressed by some of the attributes that Chef Ita mentioned. Now, chefs taking responsibility for other chefs, because a lot of the time it is you don't realize what your words and what your actions do to a person. It could be a person that is really feeling something during the course of the day, and you're there to just break them down and make them even feel worse. And it really has a large impact on the way chefing and the way chefs are actually looked at in the world. So definitely mental health we want to definitely include onto our Next Gen Chef. There's so many different attributes that we are looking at developing and looking at outlining and alerting the youngsters and the older generations out there. As I mentioned, it's not something that we are leaving anyone out from. It's all the way from the baby boomers to the millennials to the Gen Zs and the Gen Ys. We're all looking at essentially the next generation of chefing and how do we fit in and what role do we all play.
That's a very great point. And I think we just need to reiterate that the next gen, or should I say next generation chef, is not just focused on the millennials. I find myself kind of in the middle, because when I started my career, I kind of still was in the old way of doing stuff. And now I find myself adapting to the new way of doing things. And if I just have to touch on technology, and if I just look at 15 years ago, I remember, and I think you guys actually chuckled when I mentioned it to you in a previous meeting, that I used to fax my veg order through at 11 o'clock at night when I was done with my kitchen duties, and then fax the order through, and then in the morning the order arrived. And we were also used to speaking to our suppliers. So the supplier will rock up to your restaurant or to your hotel with the produce in his truck, and then you went in, you took what you wanted, and then nobody really bothered about an invoice and stuff like that, because that came later. But now, I mean, we've gone, and I'm sure Chef Ita, you in the industry, and I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. we've kind of lost that people touch, because now when you want to order something, you get onto a system, you're just typing away, 5 kilos of this, 50 kilos of that, let me get this, let me get that, and you're just ordering off a catalog. Whereas, it's taken out that personal touch of looking for a specific product, or touching and feeling and smelling, trying out the product first. Now you're governed by what technology is telling you to do. And now, the order goes through, and then by miracle, a truck arrives with some paperwork and your things. And then more often than not, as chefs, the expression we have, but that's not what I ordered, but then you have to make do with what you have, because you're running a business. I'm sure you guys in the education world have seen how you've become so reliant on technology over the last year, specifically with this whole virtual lectures and online submissions. Now people are writing exams online. I still remember, literally going into an examination hall, having an invigilator. They used to write the times on the blackboard, and then after every 15 minutes they go and scratch out and tell you how much time you have. I don't even know if that happens these days, So I think that's how we have all evolved. I think, and please don't laugh at me, but I got my first cell phone, which at the time was the best cell phone on the market, the Nokia 3310, when I was 22. And for me, that was like a big achievement. But now, if you're 8 or 9, now you want the iPhone 12. This is how our world has changed. You've got kids sitting there in a restaurant. You've got kids in a shopping center, sitting there on maybe, I think 4 or 5 years old, sitting there on an iPad and basically, coordinating and playing games or whatever the case may be. So I think technology is a huge part in this initiative. But you're so right. We need to also look at a well-being of the chef, the lifestyle of the chef, the mental health of the chef. And also, as chefs, we also got to look at sustainability and environmental awareness, because that affects who we are, Otherwise, in the next 10 years, we're all going to be eating little tablets of food, which is already around, You're possibly going to put a tablet on a plate and say, here you go, here's your steak and chips. So we've also got to bring in, that aspect of it. And I just want to touch base quickly with Chef Lucky. What is your view on this campaign, the hashtag NextGenChef?
Honestly, I think this project, the Next Gen Chef, I think it's very awesome. Well done to Chef Afzal and his committee down in Durban for bringing this onto the table. I think it will also give our members a place or a sense of belonging somewhere, like Chef Marco mentioned earlier. I think it will also show them that we actually care. We're here for a reason. We're not just here to fill a void or just to get status from this. That also what we are initiating, it's things that we wanted to be initiated when we were also in college or something like that. So it's us also trying to, not to be trendy, but to move like where the world is going as well. So like Chef Afzal touched on earlier, he also spoke about different, I think Chef Marco, spoke about it as well, with different avenues in the industry. Everyone thinks, like I said earlier, when you're in the food industry, you are just a chef. And I think that's where we dropped the ball on having tunnel vision. There's different avenues. Even marketing now, you'll get people that will be up on Instagram marketing where they work. Hey guys, we're having a high tea. Hey guys, we're having a chef's table. So it's different avenues. So I think the Next Gen Chef will be covering all those and also nurturing and also stretching tent of the youth as well. So I'm very keen and I'm very excited and very honored to be also having a helping hand in this project.
Fantastic initiative indeed. Chef Marco, I know you're also part of the Young Chefs Club committee. What is your view on this campaign?
When we look at the foundations of being a chef, it changed so much since, like you said, chef, since you were a chef starting out in the culinary industry, to now. It's so much difficult. You can't raise your voice at a certain amount of level because now you are literally shouting at the student. And then we need, as well as lecturers, we need to have a support group for ourselves where it's tough. It's tough teaching people how to cook. I mean, it's so frustrating because now there's a certain goal that you need to reach, but you can't reach it because this student is currently busy making a whole mess out of his onion. I don't know how to explain it, but we need to have that goal as to where we want the young chefs ready and going out into the industry. At the end of the day, I feel the next gen chef will cover that. We will cover from job opportunities to being a dietitian, to being a nutritionist, to being, we're going to cover everything. And I'm so excited to do this alongside with Chef Koo, Chef Afzal, Chef Lucky. I can't wait for us to get this thing rolling.
Awesome. Yeah, no, definitely. I think the excitement's in the air. And now that we've shared the big secrets, look forward to the official launch that's going to be coming up in the next couple of days. Chef Ita, just to bring you in quickly. So obviously, you've heard it first. So you're one of the first industry chefs to find out about #NextGenChef. But what do you think the campaign will bring to the industry? What aspect of it would you like to see this campaign do?
I think the campaign is amazing. It's like, I believe that it's the same as reviving a dead plant, because this is where the industry, sometimes it seems like this is where the industry is going, especially when we look at the caliber of young people and how their outlook is when they get to the industry and the age, the bridging, the age gap between the senior chefs and the young chefs and how they don't understand. I mean, it's almost the same with parenting when parents don't understand why their kids are behaving this way. So this will impact the industry. It will impact us who are directly involved with young chefs in a very positive way, because now I'm young, so I understand, but all the executive chefs will be able to understand, and younger chefs will be able to understand. We will come to a median line. We'll come and meet each other halfway, which really is what is needed at this point. We can't yell like we used to. I always say, and the way I yell to people my age and the way I treat older people is not the same. And I believe that the campaign is going to help us. It's going to assist both the young and the old in the industry.
Absolutely correct. And I think it's going to be a useful campaign and a useful initiative to chefs throughout the industry, no matter which part of the industry you're actually in. It's going to be a very insightful campaign. They say time flies when you're having fun, and we've definitely had fun over can you believe, the last 45 minutes. Chefs, our time has come to an end, but it's been such an insightful conversation that we've had, and I'm looking forward to having lots more of these. So if we can just quickly go around the room for your closing comments. We'll start off down there in Durban. Chef Afzal.
Yeah, I think, again, as I said, very honored to be a part of this podcast. It being the first one that SA Chef is running. I definitely think that this conversation is going to lead to many more conversations. And the more we talk about, the more we can plan, the more exciting things sound to me as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Chef Koo, and I'm very honored to be among Chef Lucky, Chef Marcos, yourself, and Chef Ita today. Thank you very much for your time, guys.
An absolute pleasure. Let's come up to Johannesburg. Chef Lucky, your closing comments?
Yeah, I think this was very awesome. For my personal view, I also learned a bit. There was a bit of fruit that was spared. So yeah, I'm looking forward to many more of these. I'm so excited. So yeah, there's lots in store. I can't wait for it to go through that as well. And to the chefs on the platform, thank you guys for availing yourselves on this holiday and just taking your time out just to give back, if I can put it like that. So yeah, Chef Kru, thank you very much for creating this platform for us as well. I think when these things kind of happen, we tend not to thank all the background work that has to go through it. It's like when a chef needs to go on a live stage and present something, we forget about the people that are putting up the lights, testing the recipes, making sure everything comes out. Yeah, Chef Kru, thank you very much. We really appreciate you. I think I won't be speaking for myself. I know you wear a lot of hats, but it's also shaping for the youth that's upcoming. Thank you very much, and we really appreciate you. And to the chefs, thank you very much as well.
Thank you very much for those kind words, Lucky, and it's an absolute pleasure to be serving the youth. Chef Marco, your closing comments?
Once again, I would like to thank everyone that's here. Chef Kru, thank you so much for having us all together for this podcast. And remember on this Youth Day that you are capable of more than what you think. I have this old quote and I just want to read it. I'm a quote chef. I don't know about you guys. I have a quote where I say, never be afraid to ask for help. There is strength in asking. It doesn't mean that you're incapable of doing the job. It means that you are willing to. And I just want to tell all the young chefs out there, all the young chefs that's struggling, please ask. We are here for you. And that's why we have these committees in the regions. Thank you so much, chefs, for your time. It was a real honor for me to speak to you today, and I can't wait to launch #NextGenChef.
Wow, what a powerful quote, and very, very insightful indeed. And lastly, to the rose amongst the thorns for today, Chef Ita, thank you so much for your time and joining us on this platform. I know you run a very, very busy property. Can we have your closing comments, please?
Well, thank you so much for having us, Jeff, and thank you for being part of one of the people who allowed the rose to blossom. Most don't know that you used to be my executive chef. But yeah, thank you for having us, and thank you everyone for engaging. Now I want to know more about the youth, the YCC. I want to know more. I'm going to do more research about you guys. It's really good. It really is a beautiful thing in my life. If people say, what is happening? In a time where chefs is promoting holistic well-being, where our careers are as important as our health, as important as our families. And I just want to say to SA Chefs and to you, I personally appreciate that, and I believe that this is one of the most important building blocks to a better industry in the future. We as the youth, when we have your support, will definitely take this to higher notes. It's like a relay. We will take over, we'll run, and we'll give a better generation. You are a better generation than you had. We're going to give the next generation a better legacy. Okay.
Wow, very powerful and insightful words indeed. Thanks again, chefs. It's been a really, really great conversation, and I really want to have another one. Just a message to all our members. It's not all about what your association can do for you, but what you can do for your association. So I ask you all, put your hands up, be noticed, come forward, offer your help, be it on the YCC, be it in the Women in Culinary, network with fellow chefs, get involved in your regions, get involved in the various portfolios that are available in the association. And with the more support, and more ideas and more of everything, we can take this association to the next level. And as you can see, we've got such a powerful group of chefs on this platform, ready to launch a new initiative and take not just the association, but take the industry forward. So thanks again, to each and every one of you, and thank you to all our members for, also being part of this podcast and having a good listen. And I really hope that we can have a positive impact on our industry. Just a reminder that we are available on all social media platforms. Our website is sachefs.co.za. We have a main Facebook page at South African Chefs Association, and we have various Facebook groups. So SA Chefs Young Chefs, SA Chefs Women in Culinary, SA Chefs Education, SA Chefpreneurs, and also follow us on other platforms, on Instagram at SA Chefs, at Twitter at SA Chefs, and our very new TikTok channel. And we all have to adapt. And, you can go and have a look at Chef Marco and Chef Afzal doing their thing on TikTok. We actually have 2 TikTok pages. One is SA Chefs Young Chefs, and the other one is SA Chefs. But that's all for us today. Thanks again. And remember, I am SA Chefs.